Welcome back to Pajama Party. I am here with a special guest named Danielle. Hello, Danielle.
Hello.
And we will be talking about random bullshit, because that's all we ever talk about in this fucking podcast.
Sounds good to me.
But we're going to hit the tip of the iceberg of people with disabilities and stuff like that, because Danielle is well versed in that situation.
I'd like to think so. A little bit. I know a little bit. I mean, I am disabled myself, so I know a little bit.
Just a bit.
Only a little. Only a little.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. Everything's fine.
So what can you tell me about... Well, let's first start off as... What is the biggest difference being a person with disabilities? Besides the stairs.
Besides, like, instead of being a quote-unquote normal person?
Yeah.
At least for me, I can only speak for myself, of course. Because I'm small. I'm like a small little white girl. So people don't really take me seriously.
Yeah.
A lot of the time they try to, like, it's almost like they infantilize you a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're always checking in on you. Are you okay? Can you do this? Is this okay? Yeah. And, like, it's fine. But sometimes it can be a lot where you just, like, especially if it's somebody that's new around you that's constantly, like, checking in, like, is this okay? Am I doing this right? Are you comfortable? And it's like, I like to be very vocal. So I'll be like, I can't do A, B, and C. I'm going to need help with those things.
Yeah.
Can you help me with those things? And that's pretty much it.
Another sound panel fell off. It's fine. Need to light that one on fire again.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh, everything's hunky fucking dory.
It's perfect. I like that your soundproof is purple and black.
Yeah. It's very nice. I love it.
Those are, like, my two favorite colors.
Those are the only two colors you really wear, Danielle.
Yeah,
except for your tie-dye.
I wear I have tie-dye Crocs.
Because you and I have been working for a year now, haven't we? Together.
Almost, yeah.
And as horrible as it sounds, I'm going to make this joke and everyone's going to think I'm an asshole. But we've talked about this. When you first came in, and this is a fucking rude thing on my end. Like, I didn't know you guys were staff at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought you were a new client coming in. And then you're like, hi, I'm Danielle. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. So, we work at...
Thank God you thought that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. Because, I mean, I don't think... I mean, my disability can be obvious because, like, I walk differently. And, like, I've heard, like, when I run, it's pretty funny. But I don't know. I've never seen what it looks like. So...
Maybe I'll record it sometime.
No. So, other than that, it's fair for you to think that I could be a potential client at our place of work, I guess.
Well, our boss didn't even bring you guys in at first. You guys walked around the fucking camp and didn't even introduce you guys. So I just...
We had a tour, and, like, she was like, oh, the band's coming today. You're gonna go watch the band play. Okay? Bye. And we just went in the building.
They were like, hi.
Just the three of us.
And you're just like, I'm like, hello.
Literally, like, I don't even think any supervisor was in the building.
It's fine.
To, like, tell us, or to introduce us, like, hey, these are our new employees.
Nope, none such things have ever happened.
I remember...
At our job.
One of our coworkers, like, you don't know who this is, she came up to me and was like, do you guys need help? Are you guys lost?
Who was that?
Lisa.
Lisa, what a gal.
She did. Lisa came up to us and was like, do you guys know where you are? Like, do you need help? Do you need directions? She was just being super helpful, beautiful, nice Lisa. And it was fine. And we were like, oh, no, we work here. We're new staff.
And she's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, she was busy being mortified. But it's fine.
I'm trying to not speak as much because my resonant voice overpowers everyone.
You do have a loud voice.
And I don't even try.
I don't think my voice is that. I think I'm sort of loud. I feel like I used to be louder. I've quieted down
Oh, yeah.
in years, but I feel like I used to be louder as a kid. Or like a teenager.
Well, that's fine. I mean, everyone was louder when they were a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. So have you worked in the field with people with disabilities your entire life, or?
So I have a lot of personal experience with it because my brother's also disabled. So I mean, I help take care of him. I've been helping take care of him since I was like 10.
Right.
So like, I can do, like, I can set his food, like, feed pump. We carry him to bed, you get him dressed, you change him and everything. But I didn't get, like, a job in this field till I turned, like, 24, I think. I worked in residential for a year. And then I came here to the day program.
For a year now, almost.
Yeah.
And so, comparing those two, which one do you think was a better job?
I think this one's a better job because it's less stressful.
I got you.
And, like, when in residential, you gotta realize, like, this is their home. They can do whatever they want, but, like, because it's their home, but you still need to help them do certain things, complete certain tasks, like laundry, cleaning, anything like that. Behavior-wise, residential was worse. Like, we've had
absolutely
rougher issues with, and even, like, staff-wise, I would say, like, retention of staff, residential, at least at my job, was worse.
Are you serious? It was worse than our job now?
Yeah. Because, like, if you don't have staff that work through the company, because it's like you're contracted through a company, you work for this company, they don't have enough staff, they can't hire enough people, they have to go through medical agencies.
Oh, wow.
And get temps in where they say, okay, Michael signed up to come work 3 to 9 at this house. And they come in and work 3 to 9.
And then they leave.
Yeah, and then they go.
Oh, that's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Well, I remember we had to get medical stuff when we didn't have a nurse during respites. Because that was a rough respite. That was the one with as I'm signing to you who it was, our very special friend. She loves to talk, it's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
I'm trying so hard. I usually call my favorite clients my babies. Because they are my babies, essentially.
Yeah, you can feel, like, a deep connection with them. You really can, especially if, like, a client and you build a connection that they really don't get to build with other people.
Yeah, because you're just sitting there, especially, I've worked there for 2 years now. Oh my god, I've been there for 2 years.
Rip.
And when you just sit there and you kind of realize there's a lot of people there, and you just, before all of this shit happened with coronavirus, we had 45 people in a building.
Mm-hmm.
And they all had their own little friend groups and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just so amazing to watch them just interact with each other. Sometimes they were rude, and you always have to be like, knock it off.
Or, like, they all have their own personalities. Like, most of the time they're just so funny. You're just like, what are you doing? Like, they do the silliest stuff just because they want to have a good time. And I really think that they just want to help and, like, make our day better and make us laugh and make us happy.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them.
And then you have one of my favorite clients who goes up to you and just goes, I love Clorox, please.
Hey, they were good today.
They looked good.
They had a good day.
But I remember building all these connections. And I remember when I first started working here, you didn't have to have this liberty. One of our old staff was freaking out one day. She was running up and down the building, screaming, and she was panicking.
Oh, no.
And an old man who used to, like, be here was asleep on one of our mats.
Oh.
And she kept going, he's dead! He's dead!
Oh, no.
And then I walked back there, and he's sitting there just like crisscross applesauce looking at me, making his little noises. I was like, hey, he's definitely dead. She goes, what? And he's just sitting there and goes, hello.
Yeah, like, he's fine. Oh, my God. You really do get people like that will straight up panic over everything. And, like,
Oh, Lisa.
I'm not, and, like, especially when I worked in residential, I used to panic, like, you know, because it's, like, it's new to me, because with my brother and, like, the level of care that he needs, he can't react, he can't, like, well, he can react, but he can't, like, speak and tell me what he wants. He can, like, verbalize. You can definitely tell when he's upset. But it's just, like, this sort of, like, learning curve.
Yeah, you have to learn their just personalities.
Yeah,
and
like,
then
how they work and what certain things mean. Because you can learn things, about them without them having to tell you, just by like how they move
Yeah.
or what they're doing.
And really fun fact that Danielle and I were never friends until we had to start showering one of our clients.
Oh.
He would go, "Shower me!"
Yeah.
And they couldn't decide who would wash them with me, so I just chose the nearest victim.
And that was me.
That was such... we could talk about horror... This will be a horror stories episode.
Oh, no. Danielle and Michael.
Horror stories to the end. Oh, that was a horrible time when we gave him his last shower.
That was really bad.
Because he had really bad yeast infections. Were you there for those?
Yeah.
And there was just yeast building up. Do you not remember this?
No, I do, but should we be talking about this?
I mean, you don't know who it is. I'm not saying names.
Ugh. It's just...
There was times where I watched a client concuss someone. Poor Dana.
Dana's our boss.
Dana is my work mom. I've established this in almost every episode.
Oh, okay.
Dana's work mom.
Do you just sit here and talk about work?
Sometimes, if I'm having a really bad day, I'm like, this is bullshit.
This is what happened at work today.
I don't talk about most things. I try not to. But I feel like this is a good episode because everyone thinks like our clients or people with disabilities are all like happy and they're like, I feel like a notion is like they're just dumber than us when they're not.
Right.
Some of them are super fucking intelligent.
Yeah, and like they're really multifaceted. Like they're still people. They still experience emotions. Like the gravity of their emotions can be different based off of what they can like actually comprehend in their brain.
Oh, absolutely.
But,
and how they describe it is completely different how we do it.
Right. And like but yeah, a lot of the time they genuinely do seem to like infantilize, especially like with the adult population. It's hard to like it can be hard to interact with them and create activities and like functions that are on a more appropriate level because you still have to realize that they're still adults.
Right. I don't know if you ever watched Tom Segura. Have you ever watched the comedian Tom Segura?
I know who he is.
Well, he did this whole sketch about how some people, like, let's say he's just in a wheelchair and you're like, "Hi, how you doing?" Like, you're such a fucking asshole. And this dude's like, "I'm fucking 35. Fuck you."
Yeah, yeah.
But that was very keen because some of them you do have to infantilize because that's how they've been raised.
Yeah, sometimes I understand what you're saying because sometimes that's really the only way they understand. Again, not all of them. And it's like, it's honestly a good habit to break.
Yeah.
So like, you know.
Just treat them like a normal person.
Right. Naturally talking to them in a higher pitched voice. "Oh, hi, how are you? How was your day?" Like, stop. I don't talk like that to anybody.
Right. And sometimes you just gotta be like, "Oh, they can't do no wrong." No, they're assholes sometimes. They're straight up assholes.
They're people. People can be assholes. Like,
there's some days where they're just trying to purposely piss you off.
because like they think it's funny. And they're just like, "I'm gonna do this because I want to." And
I'm gonna
like,
pee on your face because I think it's hilarious.
No.
Have I told you that story?
Yeah, you told me that
And how I screamed?
Yeah.
I was just so mad.
And it's like, they're really, like, sometimes they're so, like, fucking crafty and sneaky. And you're just like, damn.
I'm stealing one of Dana's stories. One of our clients one day, he was sitting there and it was all quiet. And somehow he's a bigger guy. He snuck into the freezer and stole a gallon of ice cream.
Oh, I know.
And ate the entire gallon. And by the end of it, all of the staff were cheering him on.
Right, like, go ahead, live your best life.
Because at that point, you're just like,
Good for you.
we can't take it away now.
No, like, good for you. You did it. You bested us. You deserve this ice cream.
Oh, sometimes I'm just like, good fucking show.
Like, you know, they're not hurting anybody. They're not hurting themselves. And it's like, that's mainly...
If they're lactose intolerant, they're definitely hurting themselves.
Well, yeah, but, like, that's mainly our responsibility. As long as they're, like, safe and they're having a good time and they're happy.
And they're not going to kill anyone.
Right. They're not going to hurt themselves or anybody else. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, it's
They're
fine.
okay.
One of our clients, he always tells me what he has for lunch, and I think it's the funniest shit on the planet because he gets so happy about it. He goes, "I have a piece of cheese and some tea." I'm like, "What else do you have?" "Crackers."
Oh,
Because he packs his own lunch.
Because he's the genius, and and that's good. He's fostering independence, and that's super important. That's a huge thing that disabled people have a hard time gaining. Because even myself, because I can't drive myself anywhere,
right?
Because of the nature of my disability.
I drive you home.
Yeah, see, you drove me home, and it's hard to foster complete independence as a disabled person, and it's you should be proud of them, if they're in their accessible kitchen and they're cooking their dinner and everything for themselves. That's great, but it's you don't, again, this whole wave of inspiration porn is not necessary. Where it's
inspiration porn?
Yeah, that's a thing, in the disability community. It's a Twitter video or a YouTube video that's he wanted to run a marathon, but he had cerebral palsy, and he had a really hard time, but he finally did it. Watch this 2-minute video on it, and look how awesome it is. And it's all right, that's cool, good for him, but he's just living his life.
Right.
He's just trying to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, and that's super good of them. Just live your life.
Right.
And we have a lot of our clients who do live at home, and then we have some who want to live in group homes.
Or they want to live on their own.
Yeah, and that's super cool of them because... But the thing is that they can never really live alone, can they?
Well, it depends.
They can live alone to an extent.
Yeah, it's are you really ever truly alone?
That's fucking horrifying to think about.
Because, I can't go get coffee by myself.
If you walk there.
Exactly. But you know what I mean? I would have to, I feel where I live, I think I'd have to have, a 20-minute walk to the closest, coffee
Yeah,
shop.
the closest one is Coffee Club.
Yeah. But,
Or McDonald's.
Yeah. But anyway, so, yeah.
And even now you can't even go in the store, so fuck it.
Right. So, you're not ever really truly, alone, I guess, in a way. Especially if you need actual assistance. Assistance doing daily tasks.
Especially using the bathroom, you can never be alone.
Yeah.
Because there's some people who just can't lift them up.
Right.
And that's themselves up. Not
Right.
lift them up, but lift themselves up.
Right.
And then you kind of... So, there's always this weird thing in psychology where you think about it and you watch people develop and follow their parents.
Sure.
So one of our clients, his mom hates overweight people. And that goes into his own vocabulary.
Yeah.
Because let's just, for example, today we were all sitting there and getting ready for jazzercise, and one of our clients didn't want to do it, and he straight up looked at her and went, "You could use the exercise." And you're like, "Fuck!"
Right.
You just sit there for a minute, you're sometimes you're just so flabbergasted.
Yeah. And because that goes back to the concept that they're adults.
Yeah.
They can say what they want. And...
They can refuse if they want.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, at least from what I've seen in my jobs, their parents are who they have.
Yeah.
And that's the only frame of reference, that's the only consistent close contact that they've had. Especially when you're an adult and you're phased out of a school program and you're transitioning to a day program or you're transitioning to...
a group home.
Yeah, residential living. It's just kind of weird. And, even, quote unquote, regular, I hate it. I don't know how else to say it. Average people you can mirror your parents to an extent.
Yeah. But then there's...
Whether it's, beliefs or mannerisms or what have you.
Oh, absolutely. But then I always feel especially now, as we talk about the coronavirus, and because that's been a very affecting thing, you just watch people just regress. Is that a correct word? Not regress.
Disabled people?
Just everyone.
Yeah,
because you lose contact with
Yeah.
people, and then you're surrounded by 2 people, and you start to adopt their mannerisms.
Yeah, you can say that.
And in disabled people, you're with their with their parents or in the group home the whole time.
Right.
And you're not having contact with your friends or anyone. You get really lonely, and it's...
Right. It can be
and you get thrown off your routine. You're just fuck, I gotta get shit done.
Because especially in residential, they're already relatively isolated because they might go to their day program, then their workshop, then they come home, and then they see staff. And that's pretty much who they see. Because they could have family come pick them up on the weekends.
Yeah.
or visit them, hang out with them then, and that's awesome. That's great. But relatively speaking, from what I've seen, they can already be relatively isolated because they don't really have the ability to go get coffee or go get dinner without someone having to take them or someone having to go with them, whatever. They're trying to foster independence as much as possible, and that's awesome. But especially with coronavirus going on,
they're just locked in their houses, aren't they?
They can be. I don't know. I guess it depends on the house. And also, the DODD, whatever they deem as safe for the company. The isolation could probably be severe. Because, my brother hasn't left the house since March.
Yeah, and that's intense.
It's not safe for him to do that.
Right. Because a lot of these people are immunocompromised.
Yeah.
And especially if they have, heart surgery or something like that.
Sure.
Something could really fuck with your heart.
Yeah.
They don't even know the full shit with this. That's what I said. And that makes it difficult because you just look at these people, and if one of them gets it, you don't know if they're going to survive or not.
Yeah.
Like a normal person, they have a good, I'd like to say 70-30 chance. But a person with disabilities probably has a more close to 30-70 to the latter.
Well, it's there are a lot of factors you have to consider.
Right. It's different from everyone.
Pre-existing conditions and what have you.
Especially if they have asthma on top of it.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
And it's scary. It's a real reality for them to where they, it's not safe for them to go out. Is it worth the risk to potentially get sick to go out and buy groceries?
Yeah.
Or whatever, And if they don't have a a quote-unquote lifeline or whatever you want to call it to help them, they just kind of have to do what they have to do and stay home and do grocery delivery or pickup or not even, but yeah.
Yeah, I got you. So, aren't you a political science major?
I was in college. Yeah. In English, literature, and composition.
So, has your brother gone out of the house any recently?
Not that I know of, no. I mean, I don't live at home anymore, but as far as I know, no. He hasn't left the house since March, since his day program shut down.
I got you. And so, does his day program provide one-on-one care the whole time?
I don't know. I think he's in groups. I think they have groups.
Okay, it's kind of like where we do?
Yeah. I think
that's super nice.
And he rotates within a group. And, I think it's, to where you would be assigned to him for a week.
Yeah.
And then, I would be assigned to him for a week.
So, with that, do you think we should cut off this interview here and I can just do the rest with James or someone else?
If you want, that's fine.
Cool. I really like this conversation. And we'll continue it when Michael plans more.
Yeah, we didn't...
I didn't plan. I've been working all day.
I thought about this. I was like, should I have, thought about things to discuss? Or, thought about things to talk about, things that are appropriate, whatever. But I didn't really do that.
And we'll be back in 2 seconds.